best categories to sell on Amazon. Let's just get started. So where we begin here is by going to Amazon.com. Always make sure to have a US zip code in here. I use 90210. Good old Beverly Hills, right? And I click here, and then you can come down to shop by department, and you can certainly click see all, and you can see all the various different categories that are good on Amazon. Now, at the top level, the categories I recommend you take a look at are home, garden and tools, pet supplies. I would actually search sports and outdoors would be the 4 main categories that I would recommend to you. Can you do toys, kids and baby? Absolutely. But I would just say but to that, it can be tricky because there can be approval required and things like that in those different areas. And you can actually click in and see the subcategories to research on Amazon as well. So you can do that in any of these, right? So even if we take a look at, if we can go back here to say home, garden and tools, you can click that and you can see there's so much in the way of subcategories. Now, I'm not going to necessarily be like, oh, go to this one or this one or this one. I would just say at a top level, the ones that I recommended are a really great place to begin. Obviously, with things like, say, pet supplies, it's a lot kind of clearer what you're going to be doing. But the thing that I like to do regardless of all of this is to use 2 things. Number 1, I like to understand the value of, say, like hobbies and of areas that people spend money. Now, we've shown it before, so I'm going to just do it for a quick second. You can go to Wikipedia and get this big list of hobbies. I've mentioned it many times and I really like it. But what you have to understand is that these different hobbies, they live inside the categories that I just mentioned to you. Right? So for example, even if you take, let's just even take like musical instruments just for a second, right? So you go musical instruments and then we can find something that is clearly a musical instrument. Yeah, this looks like an instrument, I think. Yeah. Portable synthesizer from Japan. Fantastic. Although that is exactly probably not a musical instrument. Let's just scroll down. So what we're going to do anyway, to try and find the home category is go down here and you're going to see bestsellers rank. Now this is actually in toys and games. So that is the parent category that product lives in. But the thing about it is that you have to understand like synthesizer and workstation keyboards, that's a subcategory of toys and games. But you would never see that back on the Amazon.com homepage. And the reason for that is simple. There's too many, right? Amazon is so heavily categorized. It's really, really good, but it's just in order to find these pockets of great products, you've got to jump in further. You can't just go to Amazon.com and hope to see great product ideas because you're way too top level. We're going to drill right down and down and down and down. Because even in here, if you went into this subcategory, I put it in a new tab. Now we always have DS Amazon Quick View installed. Always, it's free Chrome extension because we want to see like what are the BSRs of these products. Now this is synthesizer and workstation keyboards and somehow cat spray ended up in there, right? So that's kind of the problem as well with some of the categorization on Amazon. It can be a little bit tricky. But even in musical instruments, right, we can go top 100 and that's going to bring us obviously to the best selling products in that musical instruments category. Now, again, the thing you have to understand when you're looking at this is there's lots of different niches and things happening inside a category. So in musical instruments, for example, you got guitar strings, right? You got a recorder, as in something you play. You've got this tuner for a guitar. You've got headphones, right? You've all these products like a guitar stand. It goes on and on and on and on and on. But our job as Amazon sellers, people, we want to sell our own branded stuff on this platform. We've got to go down and find where are areas where there's just not crazy competition and products that are interesting and people are already buying. That's our goal. And the thing that we all kind of know is selling guitar stands, a lot of people will be selling guitar stands. It's going to be very common. So what we want to try to do is find related accessories, related items in these categories. That's our key. What I like to say to you is you can absolutely start out by going to Amazon and going to these categories and subcategories. Of course you can do that. But what I really just like to do myself is go here to categories and see what's going on. Well, how do you know whether something is a good category to research in or not? You kind of don't really. Some of them will be kind of clear to you, like drawing accessories as an example we've used before. fishing, golfing, they're really obvious. But what I like to do is try to find interesting product categories or niches in here. Let me take a couple of seconds out of this video to tell you we have a free 100K Amazon Summit coming. The dates are just down below me right now. If you're in time, you need to get down to the description link immediately and get yourself registered. We're giving away our whole business model, how we build businesses on Amazon, selling our own branded products. You gotta come. It's completely free. Jump down below and get access. Let's just mess around a little bit and see what we can find, right? So if you've got, say, metalworking, for example, I have no idea about metalworking, but what we can do is go to Amazon and we can type in metalworking accessories. I always like doing that. Equipment is another word you can use that's here as well. That's also a nice way to go. And if we search that, we can see like there's tons of different products on Amazon that have the keyword metalworking included in them somewhere. But again, I would never know to any of these because I'm not in this particular niche. But what we can do is we can just look around and see what's going on. So it looks like there's a lot of these working table things that are available, and this looks like it's doing quite well. Sub 25,000 in a smaller category like this would be good. But let's just look at that. So it's a honeycomb working table. This is likely something that is very complex, but we'll just take a look at it anyway, just for a fun little example. I don't know if it looks like honeycomb. Yeah, this is actually honeycomb, which is why it looks like that. So you can take that and you can search that. Now look, right, 157 results have come up for honeycomb working table. So we've gone from like this big idea, list of hobbies of like metalworking, search it on Amazon, and we've kind of found stuff that's doing well. Like this is 3,825 in arts, crafts, and sewing. They're actually paying money for ads on Amazon. They wouldn't be doing that if it didn't make any money. So that's a great start for somewhere for us to be researching. But you can just see like there's many of these different types of items that are for sale on Amazon. It doesn't necessarily mean just because something has 157 results that it's like the best thing in the world, go buy it right now. But what it does do is it gives you some intelligence on in a category, a subcategory of a big category, right? Just to confuse you further. But you would never have known. Like I don't know anything about this category. We gave this tip in another video, but I'll just do it really quickly. You can go and see what are related items. So what else in this space is doing well to related items? And we have 35 pages of stuff we can look at. Now, a lot of these are looking like these 3D printing type tools. And that's probably because there's loads of these available for sale now. But even something like that, like, again, no idea about this category. This is a rotary attachment with razor, blah, 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 blah. It's an absolute, this X tool is this brand we're looking at. So again, you can get more intelligence of just 3D printing. But here's what this can also do for us. So we're in this metalworking. These are all 3D printing things. Hey, we've just found another subcategory. So the thing as well to understand is 3D printing accessories, right? We can do it again. And what's interesting about this is that this is something where there's a lot of passion, right? There's a lot of people buying these kinds of things all the time, buying more products all the time. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you have to sell something where people have a passion, because that's not true. But what we do typically find is people do spend a lot of their money on things they're passionate about or things that they really require. And this is no different. So we just searched 3D printing accessories and we're just looking down through and seeing like, what do people buy in this space? Now, I have no idea what this is. Printer filament? Again, no clue, right? I would never have known anything about that. But this gives us more and more ideas, and we can look at these BSRs, and we can get a feel for in these categories what's good. So what I recommend you do here is start going through these niches and seeing like where's their massive opportunity. And so always looking in areas like even things like woodworking, fantastic niche, drawing, great niche. Even jigsaw puzzles. I know it sounds crazy, but you can go jigsaw accessories, and there's going to be lots of solutions in here. Lots of different things people are selling. Look, you got these puzzle sorting trays. Probably fairly competitive, but you know, that's an interesting one. So we could even go back here and we can just look at that area. What's available in puzzle sorting trays. So the thing to understand with categories is really you're looking at subcategories. You're not really looking at the top level because the top level is too big. So we've drilled right down here to these products. And yeah, like there's a few here for sale, but you know, it looks like a fairly interesting little category. Now let's take a look at the item that we found, which I think was this one. And let's just see, well actually I can go back a step and just see it. How's this selling? So look, 7,130 in toys and games. It's doing really well. It's selling a lot. And that is only 105 in jigsaw puzzles. And that's likely because if you click into that subcategory, we got into that whole area now, we're just seeing jigsaws. When you see like the 3D printing example, the jigsaw example, I call all of this the genesis of the idea. Because 3D printing, people buy stuff in there. Jigsaw puzzles, people buy stuff in there. And we can then start to see, well, what other things do people buy in that subcategory? I know when you click into the top 100, you're going to just see a lot of actual jigsaws. But even there, look, this is a jigsaw mat roll-up. So that's a mat for jigsaws. Again, I would not have known people buy that. Like, I just wouldn't know. Jigsaw roll-up mat, look. So there's actually the roll-up mat is likely what's causing this high level of results. When we come down here, there's actually a lot of these. So this is going to be too competitive, right? But look at that. I would not have known that that was a thing. Absolutely fascinating. So all I want you to do today is just go back, like this video, of course, and just let me know in the comments which category are you going to do some research in. And go into the crazy ones. Like we were in metalworking today. I never would have known that would have been good, but there's lots of interesting items in there. So many ideas available for you. You can go into any of these and just be aware sometimes they can be seasonal, but for the most part, a lot of these categories will be year-round things that people buy. And obviously different times of the year, like maybe the jigsaws, maybe Q4 people buy them more. I'm not sure. I actually haven't studied that market deeply. But this is great. This is really interesting and I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.